You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean. Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Welcome to Sweden After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Welcome to Sweden After Show.
TV for the Welcome to Sweden After Show, Episode 2. It's called Learn the Language. And we are your hosts, Britta and Carli, Garsow. Okay, so this was another great episode. First of all, our favorite character, Gustav. He had some really great insight this week as well. Last week, if you remember, he wanted to learn how to drive a taco bus, and that was his career venture. This week, he has a new career idea, and he wants to open a reggae club. He gets very into it. A reggae club, as he's wearing a reggae necklace with a shirt that has a moose on it. Gustav, not looking so reggae, but in a different scene, he is wearing a whole reggae getup as he's going to the store to pursue his dream. This is definitely going to be a constant in the show. I think he's going to have a brilliant idea every episode, and he gets really into character. I mean, he dresses like what he's talking about. He wants to open a reggae club. He's dressed like that. He's playing reggae music. He's getting really excited. He's trying to speak with a reggae accent, which is so awkward because he's Swedish, has like a Swedish accent with his American English going on, but it was really endearing. We really like Gustav. I hope that maybe like he does something really out of the ordinary, like works at a zoo or something. I think he's going to do something crazy. I mean, everything he does seems kind of crazy. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so this week we were introduced to Will Ferrell's character as Will Ferrell. Yay! Shocking. I think that he was a great asset to this episode. I think it's a cool concept to have celebrities play themselves, even though we don't know if that's really how they are. Like we said, Amy Poehler acted completely different than you would think she would act in real life, but Will Ferrell acted pretty normal, like a normal guy, so I'm sure he actually is pretty similar to the character he's portraying as himself. They sat down to eat cinnamon rolls, and I was waiting for him to eat spaghetti with syrup and candy. We just watched Elf the other night, so recommended in July. Yes, recommended when you're craving Christmas. But we're huge fans of Will Ferrell. He's great, and he just brought it wasn't like his comedy in this episode wasn't so out there like some of his movies are. Like, it was mainly, you really felt like it was Will Ferrell just talking to Bruce about and giving him like advice about Sweden and how to learn the language. And I think he gave Bruce some confidence and that he can learn Swedish and he can learn to love Sweden because Will Ferrell loves it. As he says, you get to pick blueberries, there's outhouses, and if you have a baby, you get off work for a year, which is insane. I didn't know that. Yeah, that's great. That's great. Good job, Sweden. Yeah, it's really, really great. But so I think he was a great character to have. He was, but I would like to see more comedy from him when he comes back because we know he's going to return. Yeah, and we were saying our prediction last week. We thought that they would have all these celebrities come, or Bruce would go back to New York, but they're in Sweden. Yeah, so that was surprising. I did not know that the characters were actually going to come to Sweden. And Will Ferrell has a Swedish girlfriend in the episode, which is really funny because it's like Bruce gets the Swedish girlfriend, moves to Sweden, and then his old client, who's Will Ferrell, gets a Swedish girlfriend and is in Sweden. Yeah, it's really random. It's not very realistic at all, but that's what makes it funny. And it's also funny to me that I don't think we've ever met a Swedish person. No, but Will Ferrell kind of fits in with the rest of the Swedish people. I think he fits in, and I think maybe that's why he likes it. And I feel like, I don't know why everyone thinks Swedish people are like blue, like bright blonde, beautiful hair and bright blue eyes. And I think that, like, so far, the female characters have definitely fit that mold. And Will Ferrell fits in with them really well. And so, and tall. And he said he loves Sweden. So, yeah, but I do think that we're used to seeing Will Ferrell in a more, he's obviously, like, always so funny. And seeing him, like, in a little more normal role, it was a little different.
It was good for this episode, but definitely want to see more comedy from him because he's so funny. I mean, so hilarious.
Yeah. Okay, you guys, so this is only the second after show, but please go to iTunes and subscribe and listen to the podcast and comment on YouTube. Thank you so much for last week's comments on YouTube. We found out that we were both kind of right because I said the sun didn't set in Sweden ever.
And I said that it has to set
eventually. But it sets every couple months.
Yes, and some of you were really insightful and gave us comments that it in fact does not set for, it was like a week or two out of the year.
No, it was a few months out of the year.
Oh, okay.
It was a few months.
So that's where the show is at now.
Yeah, sun's not setting anytime soon.
But yes, go to iTunes, give us 5 stars, please.
Yes, please, and keep watching and listening. Okay, so through the whole episode, it's called Learn the Language because obviously Bruce is trying to learn Swedish for Emma.
He's in some sort of like transplant support group that are all trying to learn the language. And the main friend he has in this language class is Hasan. So
he's from Iraq, and it's funny because he hates Americans, and Bruce is from Canada, but he's like, no, well, I'm from like the border of the U.S. and Canada.
No, Bruce lied and said he was from Canada because
he lie?
Yeah, he lied. He didn't want her to know he was American because he went on this long rant about how he hates Americans. So he did what any American would do in that situation and said that he was from Canada.
But the funny part, the whole like funny scene was when Hasan was like, "Oh, well, you're from Canada, so you hate Americans just as much as we do in Iraq." And he's like, I don't know, like that's true, but he didn't want to really tell him that he likes Americans because he is one.
Yeah.
But
a reminder, in the show, I believe Bruce is from Ohio and has lived in New York the past 10 years. Yeah.
From Ohio. I didn't remember that. Okay. So Hasan, I think he was a good character to have because I think Bruce, I think he felt really out of place this episode and was really struggling with being in Sweden and not doing, like his accounting job and living in New York. So Hasan, at the end of the episode, you see him talking and he's like, oh, well, now that I'm done here, I have to go back to the refugee camp. We sleep 32 people to a tent, and you see his family, his daughter's in a wheelchair. And I think it put a little more perspective into Bruce. He thinks, oh, I don't need to be complaining about not being able to learn Swedish and being in Swedish with my in-laws, or future in-laws, you would assume. But I think that he was a good character to have, brought Bruce back down to earth a little bit and made him actually appreciate his situation, appreciate that he gets to live in a whole new country and be with the love of his life.
Yeah, I liked Hasan. He was a good character. Mm-hmm. Hopefully we see him in the support group situation again.
Definitely. And Bruce and Emma, so they're struggling with, a normal thing a couple would struggle with, that's living with your parents. They can't find any alone time. And it's really extreme too, because they're sharing a room with her brother, Gustav.
Bunk beds. So
Specifically.
It's not just that they're in a house filled with her family, they're in a little shed filled with her brother. So they definitely need to find alone time, and that's pretty much the main struggle this episode, was their need to be together and find time for themselves.
And I think the whole point of that being the struggle this episode is that that's relatable in any country with any couple. They take normal situations every couple faces and just put it in a different setting, I guess. And so I think it's comedic, but it's also relatable. And I think that's what's so great about this show, is that the characters, they're Swedish, and you think, oh, these are just funny people that talk funny, but no, they're actually really relatable, a great family.
Yeah, it was great to see them in a normal couple situation, and I'm such a fan of Bruce and Emma. So far, I'm very happy with them.
I really like them. Oh, to mention, at the beginning, they're eating cinnamon rolls, and Bruce doesn't like cinnamon. I think he's allergic to it because he had a little incident. But, so, I don't know if you've ever been, most people have been to IKEA. Carli and I go for the food, primarily.
the pizza and the cinnamon rolls, and I was like, we always thought it was so funny that
They have cinnamon
they have
rolls.
cinnamon rolls, and we love cinnamon rolls.
And who knew that so do the Swedish?
So I think it's a Swedish thing. Maybe you guys can help us out with that as well. Are cinnamon rolls a Swedish thing? Not like they were born there, but do the Swedish like cinnamon rolls? Because that's really interesting.
That's what the show tells us, at least. And that is what IKEA also tells us with their
So
food
we
menu.
need to go to Sweden is what we just found out.
Oh, I've been wanting to go.
Yeah.
Okay, so next we have a new thing on our show. Swedish fun fact.
Fun fact of the day.
Okay, so every show we're going to tell you something about Sweden that you hopefully didn't know. So we're teaching you as well.
We're learning too, because I mean, we didn't know about the sun setting and had to ask you guys, but if now this will give us an opportunity to research a little bit about Sweden, something we wouldn't do on a regular basis.
So the fun fact is that Sweden offers safari rides, which, I mean, I think safari, I think Africa, but going on, where you get to see the many animals that roam around the country. Bear watching has become very popular on the safaris, but you are also likely to see wolves and lynxes along with Sweden's national animal, the moose.
Oh, that's why Gustav's shirt had a moose.
Yes, national animals, the moose. And they do safaris. Another reason to go to Sweden.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really cool. It's not something that you would ever guess. Because, yeah, like, I mean, when you think safari, you think African safari. And we've, like, learned from watching the show that Sweden is so beautiful. And looks like there's some great wildlife. So that would definitely be a great experience. I wish we had places like that in America.
And it's said that the main reason bear watching has become so popular is because I guess you get pretty close. And funny story that we've actually been very close to a bear.
Being from Wisconsin.
Our friend's cabin, we were there and we saw a bear, and it was very, very close.
And we ran fast.
We ran away.
Fast.
But it was kind of exciting, and now I can say I've been really close to a bear.
It was very exciting.
Yeah. So I think that's why these safaris are definitely so popular, and maybe this will happen on the show.
Yes.
Maybe Bruce and Emma, because Bruce is kind of a tourist, they'll go on a safari, a Swedish safari.
Or maybe since there's so many bears, we will have like the Great Outdoors incident.
Yeah.
Where some bear like shows up at their door. I'd like to see that because that movie is just fantastic.
And some more moose. What is a moose? The plural for moose. I'm not sure.
Mooses?
Yeah, probably. Okay. So, what else? We can talk about predictions. Okay, our predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, I think that Bruce and Emma, we've seen them have little fights. They get a little upset, but I think they definitely are in for a fight. They're really happy, which is great to see, but I feel like a fight is coming on soon.
I thought the same thing, because I think that, like, they're almost not dealing with certain issues, and so, like, obviously Bruce is feeling really uncomfortable, and they don't really talk about it, and he can't learn the language, they don't really talk about that, so, like, she even said at one point, like, oh, just forget about it. Like, they just kind of put things off because, I mean, they're distressed. But, so I definitely think we're going to see some struggle in their relationship.
And so they have 5 days until they're moving into their own apartment. So I think on next week's episode, we're going to see them their first night in their new apartment. So I'm wondering how the family is going to play into the plot now. I'm thinking they'll come over for breakfast cinnamon rolls and other things like that. So I'm excited to see how that plays out, them having their own place.
Yeah, and like I'm hoping that once they have their own place, we'll be introduced to new characters, maybe like some neighbors of Emma's, or like just new friends they make together.
Well, she also hasn't been to work yet. She's supposed to have moved back to Sweden for a banking job, and he mentions it in this episode. He's like, "You have such a good job," but she hasn't been seen at work. So we're definitely going to see that coming up, I hope.
Yeah, I definitely like to see different settings. I mean, the parents' house is beautiful and it's great, but it's like they're starting this new life and we want to see it. We want to watch their whole new life play out. So it's definitely Definitely. And I'm hoping Gustav comes up with some really great career ideas.
Yeah, I'm trying to
And I
think
want to
of-
see him actually do something, like follow through on one of them.
Yeah, he didn't drink on this episode though, which was
Well,
I mean,
we don't
good.
know. He seemed.
Yeah, he maybe.
He maybe have been drinking something with the cinnamon rolls. We're not sure. But I think that's it for today.
If you want to know where to find us on social media, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Carli_Garsow.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Britta_Garsow. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening with us this week.
We'll be right back here next week.
Thank you.
Thanks.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.